This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you are newer to these sessions, if you've seen me deliver stuff around motivation at work, when I've been running leadership programs and peak performance programs in-house for you guys, we would cover Maslow, but some people haven't come across it. So this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And these are the 5 motivational needs humans aspire to when we get out of bed every morning. We've got a couple of basic needs, so physiological and security. So we need to make sure that we can eat and drink, and we have got somewhere to secure, to live, but also a bit of mental security as well, so we feel in balance. And to a certain degree in control, but if you saw the session this morning, to a certain degree, because on some uncertainty is okay, we can embrace it. So those are what you'll call your basic needs, and then your next motivational need is your social need. Now this is, you see I've put it in massive letters here, and the reason I've done that is because this is how important it is. So to psychologists, being sociable, having when I say sociable, I don't just mean your social life, I mean interaction with others, okay? It's the 3rd most important thing for a human being, and I don't want you to underestimate that. Now, depending on your personality profile, will depend on how particularly sociable you are. Okay, so we had a couple more people join us today, which is great, welcome. If you are a high yellow profile, if you are 100% yellow in your personality profile, you are kind of wide, we call it a wide pattern, kind of off the scale sociability, okay? We know of one up in Rotherham, 100% yellow, absolutely brilliant. When me and her get talking, it's kind of like who can talk longest without taking a breath. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So if you are a very high yellow profile, you are very, very sociable. If you are low yellow, you are not as sociable, but it doesn't mean you're not sociable. Okay, it just means you are lower. There is a lower need in your profile for sociability. However, even saying that, social interaction is the 3rd most important need, according to Maslow and 1 or 2 others that have studied this stuff as well, Hertzberg and people like that. It's the 3rd most important need to us as human beings. So I know I'm banging home this point, but I just kind of want you to just let that take, not sink in. It sounds a bit patronising, that, doesn't it? But just take a moment to kind of go, this is how important it is. This is how important it is that we talk to people, we interact with people, because there are not many people on this planet that live on their own. Okay, when I say live on their own, I mean in the sticks in the middle of nowhere in a wooden hut somewhere and have no contact with any other human being on a regular basis. There's not many, there are a few, but what you'll find is even them, they will have some kind of animal or pet that they will use to socially interact with. Okay, so for those of you on the call that have got pets today, I don't really get pets. I'm a bit one of those people where I see people talking to their dogs and kind of think, what are you doing? I don't know whether that's just because I'm majorly sociable to humans. I have no idea. My girlfriend's got a dog and she kind of talks to a dog and I kind of don't really get it. But people that have pets will tell me, oh God, yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, to keep me company, and it would be strange without them, and all of this type of stuff. So when it comes to social, it doesn't necessarily need to be human. I'm going to go on that line, okay, because you don't normally have animals at work, to be fair. That's kind of the line we're going to take. But just remember, the 3rd most important, after you've got food and water and security, the 3rd most important thing is your social interaction. And if anybody has ever watched the film Castaway with Tom Hanks, the premise of the film is that he gets marooned on a desert island and has to survive on his own, nobody else there, okay? The first thing in that film Tom Hanks does is he finds something to drink and he finds something to eat. I think he found kind of a stream and a cave that he could get some water from, and he also started drinking coconuts until he made a fire and all that type of stuff. But then he made a fire, so the first thing he did was look after his physiological needs. Then he started making a fire, and slept in a cave away from kind of like noises and animals and stuff like that. And that was his security need. And then the third thing he did, wow, who can tell me? Who's watched the film Castaway? After Tom Hanks got food and water and a cave, what did he do in the film? Who can tell me? Put it in the chat box. Who can tell me what he did next? What did Tom Hanks, what is that film famous for? What do people remember from that film? There you go. Martin Alex Wilson! Yes, that was my Tom Hanks impression, by the way. Wilson! Yeah, and Wilson, for those that haven't watched the film that now think we're all going weird, Wilson was a volleyball that he found washed up in one of the packages that had washed up on the beach, and it was a volleyball called Wilson, and he put a little face on Wilson and he gave it some hair and he started talking to Wilson, and he would talk to Wilson and he would have jokes with Wilson and he would argue with Wilson, and one day he threw Wilson away and then he got him back. And the reason why Tom Hanks was talking to a volleyball was because of Maslow's third need as a human being. You have to be able to be sociable. Otherwise, you start talking to yourself in not such a good way, okay? So by the way, if you want to know how sad I am, Tom Hanks' Castaway, that film, is written along Maslow's lines. Food, water, security, fire, cave, Wilson, building rafts, get over breakwater, self-actualization, the pinnacle that you're trying to achieve. So that's how sad I am. Yes, I do study these things, unfortunately. But the reason why people can remember Wilson from the film is because we're all addicted to this social need. That's what Maslow said. So just take that into account. Really, really, really important.